Hello tech lovers, today we're taking a look at the Muwi Motion. If you've wanted to create nice sliding shots but didn't want to buy something like the Edeltron slider, this could be the gadget for you. It's something I picked up from Indiegogo and it has a range of accessories. When it arrived, it came in this nice carry case. When you open it up, you'll see the various accessories I've purchased. Underneath all the foam packaging, you can see I've got a little clip to allow me to use different cameras. I've got the main Muwi and I've got the motorized flow unit, which is controlled via this remote. The main Muwi unit is just a plastic little device, but it's really nice and compact, so you can slip it in your pocket. It expands out to show you these little legs. These each have wheels on them to get you the motion, and that motion is really clever actually, because you can adjust these to give yourself a round motion rather than just left and right only. Very useful if you want to do a product shot and you want to rotate around the product. You can simply push that forwards and you'll get that lovely rotating action. And of course you can go left, right or forwards and backwards depending on which way you've got your camera. It has a built-in mobile phone holder, which is very useful, and that can be put down, and you can always use this with the accessory that allows for cameras to be used. The clip that simply clips on top, and you can use any camera that's got a standard thread, although I wouldn't go too large. This is a Canon M50. I've also used it with the DJI Osmo, my mobile, and there's the M50, but I wouldn't use it with something like the 80D. The flow unit is motorized, it's charged via USB, and it simply clips onto the main Muwi unit. It can clip onto either the left or the right. The light on the top indicates the gear you're using. It's got a lower gear and a higher gear. At slow speeds, this is a fairly quiet unit, but when you pump it up to the higher speeds, you get a lot of noise. The remote has a range of options, a lot of these to help you out with things like time lapses. My main usage has just been these top buttons to change gear and go left, right, speed up and slow down. You've actually seen some of the footage I've taken with this in a previous review I did of my new desk. It was a great way of getting a shot I couldn't have got previously, because this just rolls along the floor right under the desk. It's not restricted by a slider length, and you can see I'm just using my mobile's front-facing camera, and I thought the results were pretty cool. So one thing that can be problematic with this is that the tiny wheels can sometimes struggle on bumpy surfaces. So there we go. So I hit move, and I'll be interested to see actually whether the Osmo footage is bumpy or not, because of course the Osmo has great image stabilization built in, but it's going over a surface that's actually quite unlevel. So it coped okay before, but you can see on this one it's struggling a little bit, keeps getting stuck. This is where you might want to use track. So it's just a really nice simple setup. Drop down the ends, open it up like so, and then re-slide up those ends. That just stops it from falling off. Press the slide button, move it across now, whereas before it was struggling across this brick. If this small track is too small for you, it's not quite long enough, it's great as a little portable track, but what if you want to do a really long slide? Well, there is a medium track. They also do a large track, which I don't have. They all come in these portable little carry cases, and I was able to upgrade the medium track with these little feet. These just slide out, and that allows you to get this slightly higher up, or if you are struggling to get it because it's uneven ground, the feet are very useful as well. So it works the same as the other one. This one's a bit stiffer because I've not used it as much. Slide the two ends down. And don't worry if you don't want to have this on the ground all the time. It does have a tripod mount on the bottom. Because what this would also be really good for is if you were into your time lapses, because you can set this to a time lapse movement mode, so a much slower movement mode. I'm using this quite quickly here just to demonstrate it sliding, but if you had this camera on time lapse and this motion much slower, you'd be able to get some really interesting moving time lapses, especially with the extra long track, because it means you can set this up next to things like wildlife, flowers, whatever, and get a bit of movement and not just a static time lapse. I think the Muwi Motion and all its little accessories are a really great option if you do want to get some of these nice sliding shots and add a bit of variety to your camera work. It's pretty compact. It is much easier to carry around than previous sliders that I've used. And the fact that it's so compact and you can use it with a mobile means you don't need to carry that much around to get some really nice shots. Of course, there are all those extra accessories and so the cost can add up, but in the grand scheme of things, it still feels like a more economical option if you want to get into this kind of camera work without spending a fortune on high-end kit. If you want to learn more about this product, I'll put a link in the description below. If you haven't already, click subscribe, join my tech tribe, and I'll see you on my next review.